All right, yes, here we are, Surfboard, the independent twin fin review. Average blokes surfing far less than average surfboards in, well, pretty average waves most of the time. We're going to be reviewing these boards on the northern beaches of Sydney. This area is pretty renowned for having generally sort of average to bad waves, but more importantly we have to deal with a lot of very fast waves and closeouts, and yeah, not always the ideal or optimum conditions for riding twin fins, but you know, it can be done. So here we are. This is the first cab off the rank, the CI twin pin, made very popular by Mikey February in recent weeks and months. Seems to be the flavour of the month, and for good reason. Mikey absolutely tearing on these things. He just finished up the Stab 100 Surf 100 contest where he rode this board, and in all honesty easily won that thing. I don't know how those things are voted upon and whatever, but he outsurfed everybody by a country mile. He's just that good on these things. So the board goes amazing if you're Mikey February, but how does it go if you're not? How does this board go if you're a 45-year-old, 5'11", 80 kilo, you know, knockabout, you know, how does this board perform for the average bloke? We want to test it, we want to ride it, we want to tell you how we thought it went. To be honest, this board, given the right conditions, is freaking unbelievable. It does all the things that it says on the box. This one's it's a 5'9", stock dimension 5'9", pretty much like basically off the rack, this board. Nothing special about it. What we have got is the Britt Merrick upright twin. This is the fin that is, this fin is basically, this is the fin that they say should be ridden with this board. It's designed to be ridden with this board. It's a freaking huge fin though. It's a massive fin. I've never ridden twin fins with such big fins unless they were pure keel fins. This is something in between. This is like a hybrid thing where it is very upright, but there's just a huge amount of surface of it. So the deal with that is that it tends to hold, and it tends to give you that feeling of you know, it goes where you want it to. It's very reminiscent of riding a single fin in some ways, this surfboard. So if you've ever ridden single fins and like that feeling of, like, you know, tracking and stability, this board does have that feel. However, we have also ridden it with the Captain Finco Christensen upright twin, which a lot smaller of a fin. Everything about it is a lot smaller, and to be honest, it's hard to explain how they differ, but they do. So I highly recommend that if you are getting one of these boards, maybe also make sure you got a couple of different fin sets on the go available to you, just to switch them up. We rode this board in pretty good waves for around here. Nice and clean anyway, and you know, nice offshore day, overhead, sort of clean waves, and to be honest, that's what you want. This board is a step up. It's a minor step up, but you know, you're not going to want to ride it anything under shoulder high. It's just due to the way that this thing has such a nice long stretched out outline. It wants you to surf it in similar waves. You know, it wants a stretched out wall. It's not going to perform as a small wave groveler. It's just not designed for that. So that's important to keep in mind. What it does do well though is just you can catch waves on this thing. It's a wave catching machine. You can take off extremely late. It's an amazing barrel riding surfboard. We don't have much footage of that kind of surf, but at the same time we can vouch for it in those waves because I have ridden it in similar type surf, and it just, yeah, it's an incredible all-rounder. I think if you were looking for a you know, an Indo traveller and you wanted something, you know, that kept those days interesting, I would definitely take this in my board bag on a trip. I think I'd ride it probably more often than not. And yeah, it's just it does what it says on the box. There ain't no line about that. So Mikey's done an incredible job. The technical side of this board, we're not going to break it down. That's not our wheelhouse, you know. The shapers are great at doing that, and there's also quite a few other review channels out there that do that. But maybe what those other review channels aren't doing is just talking about, you know, okay, what if I don't have the perfect waves for this board, or you know, what if my level of ability is not as high as the pros that are generally seen testing these things or selling these things. For me personally, some of the areas where I wouldn't mind seeing a bit of experimentation on like if they ever do a revised version of this, I reckon some channels in here would be amazing. Even a single channel that ran through between the fins here would be insane. Just to give it that extra bit of squirt that even though it has plenty of, could always do with a bit more. And then also, this is, like I said, a stock model. If I was going to refine anything and reorder it as a custom, I'd probably get the rail. I'd probably get the rail pinched down even lower than this, just because it is designed to be surfed in clean, buttery, sort of steep waves. You could get away with a lower rail. At times I've felt like this board does feel a little bit boaty, and you'll see in the clip there are elements of this board that just they're quite tricky to figure out, especially if the waves are slightly unpredictable, or there's, you know, a bit of chop on the face, or one of the sessions that we surfed this board in, it kind of looked nice, but once you're out there was so much water moving and there was so much chop on the face that it was very hard to surf this board in those waves, because once it sets its line, like a single fin, it wants to track on that line. So yeah, it had its moments in those kind of conditions. But all I have to say is, if you're going to be surfing clean, steep, hollow waves, you want something that feels like a step up in a short board. You know, this is only a 5.9, feels and surfs like a 6.2, 6.3. If you're looking for that, and you've got room in your quiver for that, and still want to stay on the twin fins, which I think is epic, because you know, they perform as well as anything, I feel. And this board also goes insane on your backhand. So you know, general consensus about twin fins not going well on your backhand. This thing definitely blows those theories out of the water. I don't know how or why. Maybe it's because this tail is a much more kind of pulled in, kind of almost thruster-like tail, and the who knows, maybe the fin positioning has a lot to do with it too. But it does go really nice on your backside. I've had a couple of waves where I've been able to really get up tight into the pocket. Most of the time a twin fin won't do that. You're kind of going to be out on the shoulder a little bit, you know, and carving those turns rather than getting them nice and tight and hooked into the pocket. Whereas this board does the opposite. This board, yeah, you can surf tight in the pocket on this board if you wish. Mind you, twin fins always like to get out in front, and that's the whole idea, is that you find a new line on the wave, and just enjoy that freedom, that sort of feeling of speed and weightlessness that you get. But yeah, Michael February twin pin model by CI, Britt Merrick, passes my test, passes the Surfboard'em test. Can't wait to ride it again. But yeah, exciting. Very good. Very good. Very good. All right, guys. That's basically it. Hope you enjoy the footage that we captured. If you've got any questions, this is a brand new thing for us, so and it's not a vlog. We're not doing that kind of subscribe, hit here, do this, do that. We just hope you enjoy it. Again, we're not proclaiming to know much about the technicalities of the shaping and the design behind all of this stuff. We know enough, but at the same time, no one knows more than your shaper. And if I could give Britt a ring and have a chat to him, I probably would. That's, I guess, one of the downfalls of riding a model like this that is so mass-produced. And to actually call the guy that created it, not possible. We'll be testing some stuff in the upcoming reviews that'll be more, much more local-based and independent-based surfboard manufacturers, shapers, and we do plan to contact them in the future and have a phone conversation with them, discuss the pros and cons that we feel, and also get their feedback, what it is they'd like to talk about when it comes to the board. Anyway, there she goes. Sick little board. Phew.
See me in my heels and ting. Them checks say we hip and ting. True them no know and ting. We have them going and ting. Now pop no style. All strictly roots. Now pop no style. All strictly roots. See me on the road and you not call out to me. Do you see me in my pants and ting? See me in my altar back. Say me give you heart attack. Give me little bass, make me wind out my waist. Uptown top ranking. See me in my Benz and ting. Dolly true Constant Spring. Them checks say we come from Cosmo Spring, but the true them no know and ting. Them no know say we top ranking. Uptown top ranking. Shoulda see me on the ranking dread. Check out we jamming and ting. Love is all I bring. In a my khaki suit and ting. Now pop no style. I strictly roots. Now pop no style. I strictly roots. Watch how we chuck it and ting. In our khaki suit and ting. Love is all I bring. In a my khaki suit and ting. Now pop no style. I strictly roots. Now pop no style. I strictly roots. Now your heart, this a boil up for me. Do you see me in my pants and ting? See me in my altar back. Say me give you heart attack. Give me little bass, make me wind out my waist. Uptown top ranking. See me from the road and you not call out to me. Do you see me in my pants and ting? See me in my altar back. Say me give you heart attack. Give me little bass, make me wind up my waist. Give me little bass, make me wind up my waist. Love is all I bring. In a my khaki suit and ting.